foremost, before we get started, as always, we need to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakakadah. We're also going to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you brothers out there. Now, it's another week out here, which is prophesying the downfall of the wicked kingdom. And as you see, things are getting more intense as usual. Okay, out here in the world, you got job losses. What else, man? You got this government deporting people left and right. And some of these, some of these people are actual citizens. They got their whole citizenship, all that, and they're still getting deported. All right.
Stores do, they move everything up closer with nothing in the back. So there's nothing in the back that you're going to get to replenish.
This is going to be worse than about, what year was it, 2022, when they had that shipping crisis?
Yeah,
2022. So this is going to be worse because now, it went from a currency, currency warfare. Now it's a trade warfare. And eventually it's going to lead to actual warfare. You see? So just in general, there's a lot of things going on. Okay? For protests, scriptures say, uprisings of the people happening, all over, left and right. So, hey, we're getting closer and closer to the end of this thing. And then as we say, our people, they're still lost in the soft, proud, haughty, arrogant. And it's going to get them killed. Hey, the scriptures say, what? Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. But our people, they keep, getting worse and worse. The scriptures say, what? Basically, when I stricken you, you revolt more and more, right? That's what's happening. Our people keep revolting more and more. All right? But, brothers got anything in it?
Jeremiah 27. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And it just said there was a golden cup in the Lord's hand. The Lord is using Esau just like Pharaoh to raise him up, ultimately to destroy him. But what, these nations are mad because they got a short end of the stick, so to speak. And these nations gonna get caught up in that judgment as well. There's nothing good coming to this place. And you nations that think y'all got next, y'all niggas ain't got next here. This ain't no fumble. Nigga get the fumble, everybody pile up, grab the next, who's finna get power. No, the Lord finna come in and utterly destroy you nations and put you in slavery and let you know that he has next. Verse 8 says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, and so she may be healed.
There's nothing that's going to kill Babylon. There's no rebound. No making America great again. That era's been done. All right? Like I mentioned, even in your textbooks, they call the 1950s and early 60s the golden age of America. Okay? That's done. That's when Esau was on, in particular, the American Edomite was on top. All right? They were able to, get these nice, and when I say Edomites, I'm saying every single one. They were able to get a house in the suburbs, right? Freshly built. Okay? Start businesses. If you didn't start a business, you were a manager, running an operation. You were able to chase, these niggas down. Okay? Do whatever you want, get away with murder. You see?
This man is totally being punished by the Lord. It's his scripture. Falling into the rabbit hole, get deeper for him. He's so used to having his way till, he's not able to adjust to this as it comes. And it's coming more and more, different angles.
And you're seeing that this man is not being able to adjust, as you said, because, a couple of years ago, right, for several years, you had a thing called white guilt, happening, right? You had a lot of these so-called white people afraid to talk about particular things, all right, that, not necessarily even Jake, but like, doesn't matter if it was Jake, Ishmael, Moab, whoever, right? They were afraid to say something because they would be called a colonizer. They're basically their bad history, which that is their history. Okay, will come up. See, now they're getting to a point where they're like, F that. That's why you're starting to see more and more, on social media, how, you got, these right wingers in particular, they're just saying, F that, man. Okay? So we're tired of, saying sorry. We're tired of, being quiet. Okay? They're getting that spirit of white is right. Because what it is, because you look at, Europe, Australia, South Africa, America, Canada, they've let all these foreigners in, and now their countries have turned into a third world country damn near overnight. And they're saying, look, man, you guys are the problem. You're basically animals. Look at what you did to my beautiful country. So now they're getting into that spirit of, F all this. Those horns are coming out. All right?
It's like Eve, brother. Eve supports this man to basically to the death. She'll take the sword or staff for him. She loves this man so much. She's so disregarded from the Lord to, she's just a lost soul.
Yep.
I'm holding Psalms 149 and 7. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. This man has to go through what he's going through. The Lord is slowly breaking him down. So this punishment is coming, and again, he won't be able to adjust. Because as he goes to adjust, the Lord is going to keep him off balance. And as the Lord keeps him off balance, brick by brick, this place is just slowly crumbling. And there's no hope, even though we want to continue trying to. There you go, there's the point.
Like you brought that out, this place gonna be utterly destroyed. And what we're hoping for is to put these niggas, these kids, and these into slavery.
Because they're really the root of the problem. Because at the end of the day, all right, yeah, you can say, I'll say this, are these different shades, and even like I said, Ishmael, Ham, whatever, right, causing chaos and havoc out here, of course. But who did they learn it from, though? See, that's the thing. You have to go back to the source. Why are these people reacting like this? Why are they doing particular things? And at the end of the day, it's because of Esau. He's the one that created this chaos and disparity, okay, in their country. He's the one that's, giving them all this, free, all right, government assistance, right? So they can just sit on their ass and do nothing. And basically get into trouble because the scriptures talk about basically being idle teaches much wickedness. He's the one that's pumping out all this, demonic music, right? This drill music, this wicked R&B music, these, wicked movies, right? He's the one that's pushing it out there, and they're basically reenacting it. They're taught these things, and now they're doing it. So he's the one that's the source of the problem, all right? But let me get this real quick, because you made a point about Esau's punishment, right? He's just these are just the beginnings of his, of his punishment. All right. Eventually, it's going to get worse and worse and worse for him until he gets into slavery. All right. This is Jeremiah 49 and 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts: Is wisdom no more in Teman? Its counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? And the question, or the answer is yes. All right, Esau has no more wisdom, nor did he really have from the get-go. But I'll say this, for some time, that left-handed side was working for him. But now everything's just backfiring. Get that Psalm 7 chapter, it talks about it. All right, he dig at the pit, and he's gonna fall in it, right? He dug up all these pits, these different traps, right? For starting with Jake to fall in, and then of course the heathens. But now he's actually getting caught up in it, right? You got it real quick.
Yep, this Psalms 7 and 15. He made a pit and digged it, and it's fallen into the ditch which he made.
Exactly, and that's what we see. now they're the drug addicts, which they originally were. Esau has always been the top drug addict, top dope dealer. All right, well, since like what, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, Jake was the face of being a drug addict, right? You know, hooked on heroin, hooked on crack, hooked on lean. Now who's the drug addict, right? It's Esau. He's the one on fentanyl. Okay, he's the one on fucking, meth. You see? Hey, go out there to Arizona. Go out there to, Philadelphia. Go out there to LA, these different parts. The ones who are the most messed up are really Esau. Even out here in Chicago. Now I'll say this, we do have a drug problem out here, but it's not like the areas that I mentioned, right? But all the drug addicts are evil. They're becoming the people begging for money.
And look at the Midwestern surrounding states. They come to the west side of Chicago.
Exactly.
And they jump on the expressway or E-way or highway, however you want to say. And it's one, 90-minute trip that coming, 90-minute trip going back. And it's already been predicted that they do this. But instead of them being the criminals coming into the state and doing wicked things, of course, you on the west side saying what you shouldn't be doing instead of stopping them from coming into the state, doing what they do. This man is just evil from all aspects. It's his work that he's putting in, or should I say his dirty work. Let's get judged right now.
That's right. Keep reading.
Verse 16, his mischief shall return upon his own head,
Yep.
and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate.
Exactly. So this stuff is, coming back upon him.
Right.
All right. All the things that he set up. Even right now, he's which I'm about to read how Esau is being made bare. It's coming out that they're the ones who are creating the wars in all these different lands. All right, whether it be in South America, Africa, out there in the middle, so-called Middle East, and it's really just Western Asia. All right. He's the one that's behind the scenes orchestrating things, which really, I'll say this, is really Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. All right? But the point being, though, is the Lord is, using him. He's the one that's doing all this, and everyone's starting to see it. That's why there's this huge, these uproars concerning, Palestine. Because everybody knows that the Amalekites, all right, those that are in the state of Israel right now, they're the ones who are really creating a genocide or doing a genocide. All right, they're the ones who are doing it. All right, no one else. Them. Hey, they're about civilians, hospitals. Yeah, you had this one reporter say that it came out that how they'll have like those aids or whatever, what do you call it? Like care packages, right? Yeah. Full of food and all that. They were saying that these Israelis were purposely dropping them out there, right? But with tainted food. Using literally chemical warfare to kill them slowly.
And also, taking up arms and sniping them off as they go get the food that you put out there.
Yep.
That draws them out.
Hey,
them be hid.
Yeah, there was this one Israeli sniper that said that he was just picking off little kids left and right. And it was like a decent amount too, man. And mind you, Esau is lying about the numbers. You know what I mean? So he was probably in the hundreds. Even though I forgot how much it was, like 50 kids or something. And we realistically, we know that's probably like 200, 300, 400. You know what I mean?
Well, it goes back to what you said, brother, the psychotic part of this man. When, you're telling people that you invited, it's like you invite me in, close the door, and then once you close the door, you say, what are you doing here? And then I tell you, well, you invited me in. And then you're like, well, no, I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm going to send you back to where you told me it's better over here. So come this way. So I've come this way, and now you're telling me I need to go back where?
Yeah, I'm the problem.
And I'm the problem.
Hey, he's a professional victim. All right, and that goes into that spirit of Cain, man. That spirit of Lamech. All right.
Professional victim.
Because that's all he is. He's a professional victim. All right. And he always has some type of a reasoning of why he did X, Y, Z things. But when you really, dig into it, he's the one that was really the agitator the whole time. And then when somebody defended themselves or called it out, then, he went bananas, so to speak. Well, I had to do it. I had to defend myself. He was coming after me.
Yeah.
But you're the one who started it, though. Whatever, though. All right, but see what's happening is that covering that Esau once had, it's starting to fade away. And he's starting to lose it. You can see it in their spirit. All right, but is there any more to that? It's not. We'll go back to Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 49:8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of the Dan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. And we're starting to see these calamities hit Esau. All right? And as time keeps going by, eventually he's going to get his full judgment. But we are seeing it right now. He's losing his power over the people. Because remember, one of his main things that he used to control the people was deception. That's not working anymore. Okay? His women are against him. All right?
This man thinks he can always reason and come up with a good conversation again, because this is the same tricks he's always used. So if I can come up with something to keep you confused and off balance, I got you. Exactly. And that's why these countries now don't even want to talk with this man, because he thinks he's such a deal maker. But they know you've constantly made deals that you fall back on and don't keep your word on.
Exactly.
So yeah, bro.
We'll keep reading. This is verse Jeremiah 49:9. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. And Esau, he's insatiable. This man can't stop. He's got to have every little thing, to the point now he wants your soul. That's why he wants to put that chip in you, because that chip is not. Now we always bring out, of course, the buying and selling. It's going to be a tracking device. It's going to have your medical records, so on and so forth, right? But it's literally going to be able to control you as well. They show you that in a lot of these movies, right? If that particular person, right, that had that device in them starts, coming up against them, they'll like zap them. They'll do something to control them. They'll start playing with their mind. You see? Yeah, Upgrade, the different, all these other movies, man.
I saw that shit in that animated series, the Invincible. So basically, the main character, he was gonna bug up against the dude of the corporation because he was on some bullshit. So dude, when the main character had got injured in a battle a long time ago, he put a chip in his head. And it was fucking sending frequencies to his brain, which is fucking him up. And he's like, yeah, I did that just in case. Just in case you rebelled against me.
Exactly.
That's what he do. Where the fuck has Esau ever kept a hold of his demon? Get out of here, man.
So I'm going to keep reading. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself, and his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And you see, Esau is being made bare, okay? He's being exposed at an all-time high right now. This is why they want to get rid of TikTok. They want to get rid of YouTube, Instagram, all these social media platforms, and also just in general, the internet. Because his history, which, as I mentioned earlier, is nothing but bad history. Okay? Bad dealings. Hey, get that, what is it? It's Sirach 10, Hey, the scriptures say in John 10:10, the thief cometh not to do what? But to steal, kill, and destroy. All right? He gotten his riches by what? Was it? Oh no, Salaki. You want? Let me just get up and butcher it. This is Sirach, chapter 10, in verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And you see, that's how Esau got this world, by unrighteous dealing, injuries, and riches got by deceit. Okay? You see? Ill-gotten gain, basically, as they say in this world. You see? That's basically how he got this entire world. You know, hey, the scriptures say what? He was blessed with the sword. Because look, man, that's the only thing that Esau has invented and done a great job at it. It's creating what? Different guns, different bombs, different tanks, chemical warfare. Because look, Jake's not worried about, you know, knowing the anatomy like that. Okay. Well, what if I use these two chemicals together? Let's see the effects of it, you know, on this type of on these type of people. He's the only person that does this shit, bro. Goes into all these different areas, does you know, these tests.
I'm so great
Through, man.
I'm gonna make laws that if you criticize me, that I'm gonna come down on you. Because you can't criticize me because of my perfection. So this man has to be, you know, humble.
Exactly. And the Lord's gonna do it, man. You know, it's only a matter of time, and you're seeing it. Like I said, you're seeing it. These Edomites, they're losing. They're not getting W's out here like that.
Facts.
Right? Hey, man, you look at, you come to Chicago, man. The white woman's literally with every nation you can think of. Not even just Jake. Literally, I'll be seeing them with Moab, Elam. I'll be like, God damn, bro, everybody's clapping this bitch. You know, he's not the managers at jobs anymore like that. You know what I'm saying? There'll be a lot of women, a lot of Jake women in positions of power. Elam's taking all their fucking tech jobs. Literally. You know, these other nations are, you know, in their finance departments. Come on, bro.
And constantly has to come up with something to keep his advantage. It's not working. The Lord is slowly breaking them down. He sees it, he knows it, and again, he has to come up with these new laws to protect his ass right now. So it is what it is.
It's Habakkuk 2 and 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." You see Esau eating a serpent with a white man. It's the devil that the Bible speaks of. It's nothing good for me now. He's wicked. He's wired backward. What he's into is what you should not be into. How he deals is how you should not be. He deals completely. Hey, it says he deals treacherously. Look what Esau Edom has done. Look at it to the point. He's trying to erase his own chapter.
Yeah, they say that it's now, like we mentioned the other week, how it's a critical race theory. It's a theory. It's not a definite thing.
Even when you have the receipts
Exactly.
and take that word theory to make it fact. He'll say those facts don't match.
And it is wild because you sit here and think about this, right? Look, man, we didn't write these books. We don't have the printing press to publish these books, right? He's the one that has all the power to do this. It's coming from his own people. But somehow it's a theory. We just made it up, you know? It's, we're just making some things up, you know, we just, sat in a room, right? Conjured up all these things, put our thoughts together and just threw it out there. No, man, hey, look, the scriptures say what? His own tongue shall fall upon himself.
That's right.
All right? Your own people are the ones who are exposing you. But see, what's happening is what we're doing as prophets is taking that information and linking it to the Bible. See, that's what's scary. All right, for these Edomites, that we're taking that information and linking it up with the Holy Scriptures, which just has never happened before. Okay? Because you got to remember, Christianity has been around for how long, right? For all these centuries. And you know, basically the scriptures say what the seals were, were locked. I think that's how it's written. You know, was it Revelation the 5th chapter? You know? Yeah, no one was worthy to loose the seals except Yahweh Shai, right? So point being, people, read this as like, a fairy tale book, all right? Maybe, somebody, saw something in Proverbs or Psalms, whatever, like, well, that's, something good for, your moral conduct. You know what I'm saying? And that's really about it. You know what I'm saying? See, now, hey, the prophets are back on the scene, and we're breaking this down correctly and directly. And it's a scary thing because we're telling you, look, first off, we're getting our nationality back.
That's right.
Okay? Because for the longest, people thought it was those people who live in the state of Israel. Okay? And we were just some random people, just some coloreds, some natives, some Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, whatever. We were just with Hispanics, whatever, whatever they labeled us for the longest, right? We were just nobodies. Now we're saying the Lord's chosen people, and we're telling everybody, well, you're actually Moab, you're actually Ishmael, you're actually Ammon, oh, you're actually Esau, and then we're telling you the judgment of these said nations. That's scary, man, because look, there's nothing good coming to Esau.
You know it's the truth. Because when you grew up, there was somebody going around telling a lie. It could be ignored. Don't even pay no attention. He'll go away or whatever he's saying, it'll eventually water itself down. But now for you to want to create laws to counteract what's being said, which is the truth, I mean, you're probably wrong.
Yeah, that's why the scriptures say you could do nothing against the truth before. No matter what Esau does, it doesn't matter if he goes left, right, up, down, all right, closes his eyes, open it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he does, and the Lord's got him in the trick bag, and he's doing the Lord's will.
Yep.
You can't, run away from your destiny, your fate. And that's what Esau's trying to do right now. He's like a rat back in a corner, and he's clawing, trying to bite, screaming, screeching. But look, it's not going to matter. You're eventually going to get trapped, and you're going to be exterminated. Okay?
Habakkuk 2, I want to jump down to verse Habakkuk 2 and 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. That's what's going on when Esau eating a self-proclaimed white man. It's not cool to be an Edomite anymore. Back in the day, these niggas used to brag and boast on their history. Yeah, we did this, we did that, X, Y, and Z. But now these niggas are trying to, hey, let's not talk about that. Let's let bygones be bygones. And that was in the past, wasn't it, man? Now it's like,
Shalom.
Shalom. Now it's like, that shit don't even exist. I don't know what you guys are talking about, man. Because what? Esau eating the self-proclaimed white man has been shown that he's the devil.
Yeah.
It's been shown that he's the cancer of the earth, that he's the wicked. And what? There was that AI a couple of years back. They did basically was the problem. They said the so-called white man, he has to be eradicated.
Exactly.
That's what AI said.
It's just evident, bro. Like, when you sit there and you go back from his, really, if you want to, his inception, right? As the serpent, because the prophets say we go way back in the beginning, all right? Because that wicked spirit has always been around. It started as the serpent, transferred to Cain, the Mech, then it moved down to what? To Esau. The point being, though, is you look at his history, and let's just say this, right? You start off with the Greek Empire, right? That's when he really got into power, right? The Greek Empire. How did the Greeks get into power? Alexander was just slaughtered. Okay? His forward, get it. Get it in First Maccabees 1. It says what? Wickedness increased once they got into power. Okay? Treacherous dealings, murdering, raping. I'm not a Macedonian anymore. I'm actually a Greek now.
Yeah, right.
All right? You see? That's Esau's history. He likes what you have and he takes. Okay? And then when you call it out or defend yourself, now all of a sudden, oh, you're the problem.
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting, right?
Stop resisting.
Stop resisting. I'm only holding my hand
You're
up because I'm
racist.
bleeding. You know?
You're racist. You know what I'm saying when you call it out.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, man.
All right, I got First Maccabees 1:1, and it reads, and it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who
And when
came.
you go into that history, man, you gotta go into Kings and all these different books. It goes into Alexander the Great is an Amalekite, man. Okay, and those Amalekites are a grandson of Esau, Edom. All right, but I wanted to highlight that they're an Amalekite because Amalek, man, get that real quick in Exodus, man. The Lord's got talks about how what is it, 33:15, I think. War. He's gonna have war with Amalek forever, from generation to generation. Amalek is the top Edomite and the worst Edomite. All right, those that are in the state of Israel, man, that are calling themselves Jewish right now. Okay, they've always been around causing havoc. I think it's 33:15. I think it's that. Salaki, I want to get this real quick. You spell that like, I spell this right.
I think I got it. It's 17.
It's 17, Salaki.
It's Exodus 17 and 16. For he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
Exactly. And the reason why is because Amalek it is the biggest thorn on our side. He's the one that's caused the most problems for us, man. All right? Bro, Amalek is one hell of a demon, bro. Fuck, bro.
And the one that keeps stuff going is the one that should be brought up on charges. So he has to keep stuff going because that's their MO. They always have to keep something going to make themselves relevant. So,
read that again, Ak?
all right.
I just wanted to make that point how, like I said, Lord willing, man, I know I did a lesson, this was years ago about it. I think that was on my first page, so it's completely clipped. But I did a whole lesson, tracing it all back, man. They go to the Amalekites.
That's right.
All right, but I'll read it again.
This is First Maccabees 1:1, and it reads, and it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
Oh, so yeah, he was the first one. All right. Keep reading out. I think it's like
I mean, it's like 8.
no, read 2.
First Maccabees 1 and 2, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth.
So he made many wars. Okay? Many wars. This is Esau History 101. Murdering.
Yes. Murder.
You got it, I want it. Okay? See? See, you can't make this up. You got this brother with a fine white woman looking dapper. You see? Alright? Hey, and then we're not talking about like a low level white woman. Bro, you know what's so funny? That's the type of white woman, right? That's probably from one of these uppity areas. She might be from Barrington. She might be from what is that? Downers Grove. Okay. Was it Northbrook? You know what I'm saying? You could just see it in her spirit, man. She wasn't no low-level white woman, and she's with just some niggas. Fucking niggas.
He losing, man.
Hey, he's through, bro. He's fucking through. And you see this all the time, bro.
And bro will step on his toes and say, what are you doing? Something like that. His nerve.
What you doing with that? Why you want that thing?
He ain't doing right with that. This place is
The
just,
black woman's gonna come out of nowhere.
yeah.
You hate yourself.
You hate yourself.
You're
hate your mama.
self-hating. You're self-hating.
Your mama black, nigga. Yeah, man, your mama.
Oh shit, man. Hey, but like I said in class, man, in particular, any so-called black man in particular, you know what I'm saying, that's got their shit together, right? That has some self-esteem,
Right.
would not deal with the black woman, bro. Now, of course, there may be one or two that's actually okay, so to speak, right? That treat you with respect, you know what I mean? All right, that's half decent, you know, for lack of words. You know what I mean? But any you know, so-called black man that's got their shit together, he's dating a white woman, he's dating an Asian woman, okay? He might be, you know, in the sand, you know?
Tribe.
You know, he might be with a Latin bitch, you know what I'm saying? You know, more of a traditional one. But you know what I mean? But point being, he's gonna be with the Hebrew bitch. Cause hey man, fuck our women, man. They hate us anyways. But that's what's so demonic about them. They hate you when they can't handle it. It's fucking weird, bro. It's like, what is this shit, man? Going out, you know, was trying to, you know, get with you, trying to, you know, get with you. You were giving me the hardest problem. Now all of a sudden, I go fuck a white woman, go fuck an Asian bitch. Now it's a problem. Fuck you.
Just kind of be joking around. Getting worse for her. So it's got to play itself out. Totally has to play itself out.
But
It's totally unwanted.
exactly. She's a fucking loser. Breathe. But get that first back and he's stopping. It's lucky, man. We had to bring that up, man, because we were just talking about it.
That's
But yeah, we'll get that scripture out.
You got the don't see my shit. Check on your phone.
Don't see my shit.
You ain't trying to have nobody see that shit. I don't blame you.
This is the first Maccabees. You know, I'll read it, man, because I'm right there. Or you got it? This is First Maccabees 1 and 3. I'm gonna read 2 again. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And you see that today. All right, the so-called white man went all around the world, okay, pillaging everything. Now they're proud as hell. No one can take me down. All right, I'm top dog over here. Okay, especially America. Hey, what did it say? He was more stout than his fellows. Hey, the American Edomite, okay, they think their shit don't stink. They even look down at Europeans. Wild as hell, man. Okay, and let me jump down to verse 7 now. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, talking about the 4 generals. Okay. So did their sons, because there was 4 of them in total. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Okay. So the second Alexander the Great got into power, which is an Edomite, Amalek. All right, evils were multiplied. You see, you had to learn his ways. They became in the Greek captivity what? Hellenized. And you see what's happening in this current age is people have become Americanized. Not just here in America, mind you. Okay, so look, you can go to Japan right now, and they don't have their traditional garments. They got 7-Elevens. All right. They got KFC out there. You know what I'm saying? You go to you go to South America, you go to anywhere around the world, and there's some type of American culture in it. This world has become Americanized now. You see? Bow down to my ways. If you want to succeed, you got to follow me. All right?
And they're sending travel guidelines to people now about traveling around because people are fed up with this culture. They're fed up with the arrogance, and you know, you can again blame that even Esau for that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll say this, really they're targeting so-called white women, all right, white women. That's really what it is, okay? And then I'll say this. Then they're just tired of fucking niggerism too, man, because you got Jake, they get a little bit of money, and all of a sudden they just want to fucking twerk, fight. Salaki, I know what was going on. Right, Salaki. But going back to what I was saying, but yeah, that's what they're really talking to, because like, let's say if we went out there, they wouldn't really have an issue with it, especially if we're, you know, order, no issues, you know what I'm saying? They would respect the culture. We're fine, but these Edomites, they act a fool, man, in these other countries, man. Okay, I mean, you were a military man. You probably heard stories of how, you know, the American troops went into whatever, you know, cities or towns and just thrash shit, man. Rape bitches, you know, destroy fucking businesses for fun. They were doing that a lot, man, back in the day.
And you brought up Japan. Japan to this day wants America, and I'll blame that on the Marines. The Marines are the ones that continue to get in a lot of trouble over there in Japan. And, you know, disrespect to their women and everything else. So it's like they've worn out their welcome a long time ago. And deservedly so. Because being the world's police, where has it gotten? You don't make nothing here. Your biggest thing is sword you swing on the world. So, you know, you swing it proudly in your own country. So, you know.
Hey, but I was gonna say, you know, at all, because we were talking about Jake. You know, that's why I said these other nations are tired of niggerism, bro. Like, I was watching, they look like some two Jakes from fucking 63rd, so to speak, and they were in Japan literally brawling, bro. And the cops were like, because, you know, in specific, like, you know, Japan, China, you know, they're like real cool. They try to, like, you know what I mean? They try to talk to you instead of being forced, you know what I mean? And they were just acting like fucking monkeys out there, bro. Fucking baboons acting the fool. That's why they don't, it's two things. They don't want, first off, these nations don't want Esau around, okay? And then they just don't want niggers, bro, straight up. But if you're a respectable Jake, no issues, man.
And I'll say this last thing about Japan. One thing about Japan, they've said Japan is the cleanest nation on the planet. There are places that you can go, you won't see a leaf on the planet.
Yep.
So, you know, these are people again that don't have the giant melting pot. It drove this man crazy because all these different nations, he's steady trying to control, let alone their homeland. So again, it makes you the face of ignorance. And I must be outside as slowly breaking these songs. We couldn't be more happy because again, it could just stand its time.
Yep.
It's time for righteousness.
Micah 2:1 says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When a morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand."
That's heavy, bro. Like, look, Esau, one thing I'll say about Esau, they're not very reactive. A lot of things that they do, the majority of the things that they do, is actually pre-planned, very thought out and calculated. That's why I call him the serpent, right? And it says what, that he was the most subtle beast in the field, right? In Genesis, the 3rd chapter, okay? Esau is very calculated, and it's very hard to get him out of character, so to speak. But I will say this: once you do get him out of character, and he's like a baby that throws a temper tantrum. Okay, you see, because they don't like being wrong. They don't like being, you know, put on blast. You know what I'm saying?
American woman was followed, right? After
Oh yeah.
accountability, what accountability?
Got 10 minutes.
Not never. Not never.
All right. So, but yeah, but like I said, that's heavy because they sit there and think about all these things. Okay. Look, when they're in these different cities, right? These different, high-rise penthouses. This is what they talk about, how they screw you over. Okay. They go to their, their villas and their estates, right? Which are, miles long, acres long. They're not there just, sipping wine and talking about nothing, okay? Talking about love, okay? Even when they're at those golf events, they're talking business. They're discussing plans. That's why they look. That's why they don't want. Originally, they didn't want any blacks. All right, basically tribes at these golf courses because it wasn't meant for you to be there because you start hearing some shit. All right. Only thing that you were to do was to keep the grass green. All right, and make sure you go cook some food. Go clean up, nigger. You can't, boy. Yeah, Esau loves using that word, boy. Keep going on.
Micah 2:2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
So yeah, they take everything that you got to the point now where they actually stole our identity. And it almost is like a role reversal now, which is the craziest thing. Our people are the thugs, the drug dealers, thieves now, murderers. When really that wasn't us. I'll say this, it's gotten to a point where you want to deal with Esau because in a sense he's more civilized. All right, now you can't, of course, you never trust your enemy, but I'll say this, like just in general, if you go to like the Edomite area, it's clean, people talk to you with respect, you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot better to being around that than being around Jake. You go to, bro, man, you go to fucking 63rd over here, you can go to South Loop. You can go even to one of these uppity Jake areas, like Olympia Fields. You know what I'm saying? Homewood, and niggerism's gonna happen, bro. I still remember this, bro. I'm fucking in, I forgot where I was at, but one of the super uppity Jake areas. We're literally just ranching. I'm just driving by, right? I see literally a fucking dude come out. Mind you, he's coming out of a fucking mansion, bro. Got hella land. Young dude coming out with a fucking tracksuit, Nike tracksuit on with a fucking shiesty mask on. And I'm just looking at this, I'm like, bro, your house is like $1 million plus, bro. Probably like $2 million easy. And this is what you want to do with your life? Insane, man.
That nigga T.I. son, like, this nigga T.I. rich as fuck. His son inherited his wealth, so to speak, and benefited off this shit. And now he wants to be a fucking gang man.
YN.
A fucking YN. That's bigger culture. Be a fucking gang.
That's why the Lord's going to destroy our people because it doesn't matter if they're, in the what they would call it, the upper echelon, upper scale area, or whether they're at the bottom of the barrel. Our people just love being niggers, bro.
Yep.
They love this black culture that they've been given, bro, which is really death culture, man. Okay?
And
Which at the end of the day is really Esau culture. Insane, bro. Even the devil, in a sense, I'm using this loosely, is trying to be righteous. You got them fake Jews actually following the laws. Okay? Oh, I can't eat that, buddy. It's got to be kosher. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying when you think about this stuff? The Edomites are actually trying to be righteous, so to speak.
right. You're trying to keep this stuff not getting worse, but it's not up to you. How about Shimmy Hawashai has his programs in his feet. So we all bouncing in his feet right now. And, you know, let this man continue to do what he do so he can accelerate his own downfall.
Read. Read one more verse.
Micah 2 and 3. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil.
And that's what's going to happen. All right, we're getting into that time period where Esau is going to have to deal with his judgment. At the end of the day, this man is going to fall, and he's going to, have to service, slavery, brutal, hardcore slavery, and then ultimately be exterminated. Because they, the brother, we didn't really get too into it, but he brought out, what was it, Psalm 149. Excuse me, 149. You read that whole chapter, man, it's basically us in the kingdom on top, whooping ass.
Right.
Read.
Right. Read.
But we'll end it off with this scripture, whatever you got on.
This is Job 36 and 17. But thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked judgment, and justice take hold on thee.
Woo!
So,
And they love throwing that word justice. And hey, look, yeah, justice is coming for you, man.
That's right.
You're not escaping.
step into my courtroom where people that look like you rarely get justice, but justice is served. So, the confusion of this man.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, when we got this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, we got hope, we got faith, and we know that this guy's going to go down, man. He's going to have to pay for all his crimes. Do not escape, okay? And you're not going to cry your way out of it like Esau, like Cain. No, not this time, buddy. All right, but hey, we're going to end this lesson. Hopefully it was edifying. Yeah, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadas.
Also, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you brothers out there. Shalom and Abba.
Ball.